Okay, so, show you the funny clam on the door. This is not science at all. There's no science here. Invisible, yeah, that's on the list. So, I mean, honestly, I prefer if people just ask it to me so that I don't have to use the list and maybe the person who asked the question's not here anymore. It's better if you just ask me when I give you an opportunity to do so. Alright, so if you want to soft lock your tide pool in an extraordinarily stupid way... What skin am I using? Okay, so the puppy cat. By the way, you can redeem a skin if you want to. I think we're definitely past the boundary for this one. So I'm just going to warp to a few tide pools to see if I can find it in the field. Because I know it can generate. Let's zoom out a little bit more. Alright, I think 4-1. Oh, good. I'm not going to spend too long on this. I could just spawn one on the door if it doesn't come up. Oh, here's one. So if you're feeling like an absolute dumbass or you want to throw like a co-op run, this can happen. This can happen to your run if you like use enough explosives and make an adequate number of bad decisions in your run. You could just soft lock yourself like this. There is no way to get this clam off of the door whatsoever. And I have personally never seen anybody ruin their run like this, but this is technically a thing that can happen. Now, the dupe telepack crashes if you try to teleport a clam. Like you're fucked. You can't get out of the level if this happens. So this is a soft lock. Well, I mean, you can die to the ghost, but it's a soft lock in spirit. So don't do that. Pay attention if you're doing a score run or something. Don't drop a clam onto the door. I would assume this happens in score runs more than anything else. You can't telefrag the clam. That's just not a thing. Like you'll get +3'd into it, or you'll telefrag the floor under it. So like that clam is there to stay. I don't even know if you can actually destroy a clam if there are tiles above it. So we can try to find out. Alright, so I can't +3 this clam anymore. Let's go ahead and see if we can get killed by it. Alright, so that's a situation there. Let me see how many tiles is this. I'll turn off. Gotta be one higher. Alright, turn off God mode. No, it doesn't even telefrag it. You just die and the clam doesn't even care. Like, so nothing can destroy this thing. You can't get rid of this. Any other questions related to this? The drill could probably destroy the clam. If only we had a drill in the levels that have clams, then maybe that would be a viable solution. I mean, we might as well check that. Can the drill destroy clams? Yeah, let's see. I don't know how to spawn in a drill that won't crash, so I'm just gonna go to Volcana. This might be the drill level. Yeah, it is. Alright, let's spawn a clam and see what happens. Yeah, we need the base. I don't know what happens if you spawn the top by itself. Probably nothing good. I don't remember what the command is to activate the drill, so we're just going to do it like a scrub. Alright, let's see here. I'm using frame advance. My game's not lagging right now. I just want to see what this looks like. Yeah, I mean, clam's gone. Alright, there you go, folks. So just bring the drill to Tide Pool, and then you can get the clam off of the door. Very useful. Can Olmec destroy clams? Why not? You know what? Clam science. Let's go. Everybody, this is now the clam segment of our stream. Let's find out what can actually destroy these things. It's perfect. Spawn that in. Alright, Olmec. So just him landing on it won't destroy it. Can he stomp it? And I'm not sure if that actually works. Can he set it off for that matter? Okay, Olmec doesn't set it off. I don't think he counts as like a living creature. So he can't actually set off the clam specifically. Alright, this'll get him to stomp it. No, the clam is not destructible by Olmec. Now, of course, the obvious question is, what if I set off the clam on Olmec? I'm trying to time this. Come on, Olmec, cooperate with me. Nope, Olmec is also not destroyed by the clam when it closes, so no particular interaction here. I knew this might crash my game or something if it actually killed Olmec, but it... Wait. Never mind, it does kill Olmec. Regu, is Overlunky the only reason why my game hasn't crashed now? It did kill him. These are the Olmec parts. I think the base Olmec entity got destroyed and the parts are just here. Oh god, classic guy. I'll do that in a moment. Let's see. The crash prevention. So my game would have crashed in this situation. That's what I figured. The crash prevention from Overlunky saved this, because I think the Olmec entity's gone now. Like, the parent entity for Olmec is, like, active floor Olmec. I just search for the title of it. Active floor Olmec, I believe, is the entity, and it's gone. So the clam actually killed Olmec, and it just left, like, the floating Olmec bits behind because of the crash prevention. So yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Let's see. What else have we got? Ball and chain. I highly doubt it, but we'll try that. So let's see. That's Olmec clam interaction. So let's try spike ball. Let me get out. This level's cursed, so let me just get out of that real quick. I don't want to stay in that level just in case there's something else that crashes later. All right. So spike ball, and it's. I want the ceiling. This one. I think this should spawn the spike ball with it. Alright, first test. Alright, that answers that question. Second test. Does the clam destroy the spike ball if it's just like in the clam? So let me spawn it a little bit closer. I need to set it off. Yeah, okay, and that pulps the spike ball. Alright, so those two will mutually destroy each other depending on who's moving. And let's see what we got. So we want Cali Punish Ball. Let's go ahead and try that one. Honestly, I'm consistently surprised by every outcome we've had so far, because just nothing is consistent. Like, to be fair, this is not normal. Like, you wouldn't normally do this in a run, but oh well, I'm pretty sure this one's not going to work. I don't think this is going to do anything. I actually need to give myself the punish ball. Let's see. I think it's attach. Ball and chain. Alright, so we have a ball and chain now, which for the most part is functionally identical to the Kali one. There's differences. And the way this works is 20 frames of being airborne more than one tile below the punish ball will cause it to try to break the floor that's underneath it. And as you can see here, that is not happening. But if I were to like move the clam out of the way, it'll break these tiles, no problem. So that doesn't do anything. And then this is common knowledge. You can break a punish ball with the clam. That's typical. So let's see, that's those. Clam and boulder and a pep. We need to test those two. Unique programming for no reason. It's more likely a byproduct of just like edge cases involving the entity flags that they didn't think about. It's one of those things where, like, I say this a lot. I'm going to toot my horn for a second, chat. I apologize. So if I was a developer on this game and I had like some creative control over how these interactions worked, I would have programmed these edge cases to make sense for people that are going to create custom levels for the game. I would have like made these cases make sense. Like, Olmec would have been able to destroy the clam wouldn't have been able to kill Olmec. I would have like had destruction like Gibbs for the clam potentially, like, or I would have just made them mutually unable to break each other. I would have tested these scenarios even though they can't happen normally. But for whatever reason, the devs of this game didn't feel like doing that. Instead they just did the bare minimum. There's only a couple edge cases for this sort of thing. So like, for instance, in Spelunky HD, you remember if these guys ate an orange frog, they would explode after a few seconds. But in this game, they just blow up instantly because those two entities can't normally spawn together. Why didn't they just make it the same effect that existed in HD, just in case somebody made like a custom level where those two entities could coexist? Like, there were custom levels in Spelunky HD. They knew that was a thing that could happen. But they didn't think about this stuff. They just were like, oh, it's good enough. Ship it. And I'm always just disappointed about this kind of thing. So it's sad. What's weird too, by the way, is Waddler can actually transport the Ushabti. If you didn't know, Waddler will actually like store the animation frame of the Ushabti, which is like essentially the game uses that to check which one it is. But it's not possible to store the Ushabti in Waddler because you don't have it by that point. And it makes me wonder, did they have a different order of events in development? Like you got the Ushabti earlier in the run, or Waddler was available like at some point later in the run to store items? Because that would be kind of interesting. Because since we know that the devs didn't actually program anything with modders in mind, it makes me think that that's a residual like component of just the dev cycle. When maybe you got an Ushabti before Waddler, so it made sense to program that special case in, and then they just never removed it. Just speculating, but you can get some insight into what the development of this game was like based on what they didn't do, is what I'm telling you. Or maybe Waddler spawned a 750 or something, I don't know. I don't know like what the end game looked like. Maybe like there was a World 8 and Waddler spawned like at the beginning of it, and they eventually replaced that with the dumpster fire that is the Cosmic Ocean, and decided to just not put Waddler there. I don't really know. I mean, Cosmic Ocean internally is World 8, by the way. But like they just show 7 on the UI for some reason. I don't know why. All right, so let's see. Anyways, back to the giant clams. We have a Pep and Boulder. I'm just gonna do these in order while I'm scrolled up in chat. So I like to go to the natural level where these elements exist because sometimes there are subtle differences. So let's go see if we can find a Boulder. There it is. All right. So let's see, there's a couple ways that this could go. Let me spawn the clam level with the Boulder. So like right here, let's spawn the clam there and see what happens. I'm gonna do this one with frame advance. No, it just bounces off. And the Boulder has like a weird circular hitbox. It's like, there's about like 4 entities in this game or something that have circular hitboxes, and the Boulder is one of them. And it just bounces off the clam. So now the second test, of course, will the clam eat the Boulder? If I put the Boulder... I need to be very careful to grab the Boulder and not the top of the clam. That might crash my game. It's just fucking gone. There's not even any particles. It's just gone. Like, they didn't even try. Dog, shut up. Alright, let's see. So that's clam and Boulder. We have a Pep. That sounds like a crash, but I'm doing these in order just so I don't miss anybody's suggestions. So let's go to Duat and see what would happen here. I think there's a very good chance that the game will crash if the clam closes on a Pep, but I think the other way around, he's just going to destroy the clam, is my theory for how this is going to play out. We're going to do this one with... That's not what I meant to spawn. We're going to do this one with frame advance as well, because there's a pretty good chance my game is done for when this interaction plays out. Because the Pep head is a monster, but I think the clam is going to get destroyed by it first. Oh, uh-oh. Oh, that's not good. Is the Pep going to set this off? That would be the delay. Okay, a Pep didn't set off the clam. This is not what I was expecting. There's just no interaction, apparently. A Pep crashes when killed. Yeah, I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but we have to know. We're doing science. Let's find out. Let's find out what happens. So let me open up this script here. I forget if I have the clam timer set up for this. Dragu, can you make this be saved by default? Like, is it easy to fucking save this one? Because I almost never want scripts in the script directory. I want this one here, because that's where I usually store my scripts. It's easy to develop them in a folder. That's just like an off suggestion. Like, just have this be an option that gets saved in Overlunky to default to whatever you used last if you save your options. It would save me like a little bit of grief. So anyways, let's enable that. So next frame it'll pop in, because I'm still paused. What if I activate it? Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, just throw that on the list. Like I said, if you're gonna mess with this as well, can you make a clear script messages button? Like, I like to not fade the script messages, but every now and then I have like a wall of errors. And if I fade script messages, they'll disappear, but then they'll come back if I unfade the script messages for scripts, but not for the console. Or I guess make it so that if you fade them out, they actually get removed from memory. Like in general, there's a bug report or something I need to make at some point, but the performance of Overlunky just absolutely shits the bed if you have like a ton of script messages per frame, even if they're off screen, because whatever like rolling buffer you have set up, if it's even a rolling buffer at all, isn't clearing like old messages that aren't rendered on the screen anymore. So if you have like an on-frame callback that's printing like several lines of text, the performance of the game like is absolutely destroyed by that after you have it run for a few seconds until you fade the script messages to like despawn them. So there's just a little bit of impromptu feedback. At some point, if that never gets added, I'll put together a proper like GitHub issue for that. And obviously no hurry for any of this stuff. I would just appreciate the changes if you can ever get around to it. I am, as I often say, just grateful that we have Overlunky to begin with. Hey, Drac. So anyways, what we were going to test here is whether or not this shit will crash by game. And what I want to do is look at the timer for it. So we're going to open the entity tester. I need to update this to use the new click API, because I can now like intercept the left click and have that like select the clam. That would make this much easier. I have not added this yet, so give me like literally a minute and I could just code this in right now. I just need to check Overlunky and see what the API is. What I'm trying to do, chat, is I'm trying to get the timer for when the clam is triggered versus when it closes. To see, I want to close it on a Pep's tail first, and then I want to close it on the head, because we know the head crashes. I don't know if the tail crashes, so that's what I want to do here. I just need to check what the timer variable is called. Sometimes it's just timer. Giant clam top. Oh, is that... Okay, the giant clam top has the timer. Okay. I was not aware of this. I think I still don't have that entity set up now. Let's see. Entity, raw game types. There we are. Yeah, I don't have this one either. Let me just throw that in real quick. Just listen to some chill Tim Fallon music while I work on code on my other screen. Giant clam top. Okay, let's see. It's movable. Okay, 2 fields, open timer and close timer. I don't know why they didn't use the same timer and a state to differentiate it, but this game it was definitely programmed by at least somebody. Somebody programmed this game, probably multiple different people who did not like properly communicate what they were doing with each other based on how ludicrously inconsistent it is. Like, has anybody found the flag for the eggplant crown? Like, you can remove the eggplant crown power-up from your inventory and you will still be throwing eggplants. Has anybody actually found that variable? Do we know what that is yet? Because then the true crown, I think, doesn't work like that. But the eggplant crown does for some reason, and they're both a different check for like whether or not you have them in the journal. Just wondering if anybody has that yet. There we go. Okay, I added the field. Lua scripting stream. I don't have a good like setup to show like my code and then switch back and forth between that and the game. I also program really fucking slowly, so it would be like a very slow paced stream just in general. Like I am a slower than average programmer. I write good code, but it takes me fucking forever to do it. At least I think it's good code. I mean, it's my code, so obviously it's perfect. But I don't know if I want to do programming streams right now, unless I can get like a much better like workflow for the whole thing, because otherwise it would be boring and then I would feel pressured to deliver content when sometimes you just hit a roadblock when you're programming and you just want to get up and do something else. And I wouldn't want to be like in that situation in the middle of a stream and just have to keep streaming something when it's like I really just want to go watch a YouTube video and then come back to this later. It wouldn't work well with me, is the issue with it. Alright, anyways, let me update the script now. It should work now, so let's go ahead and reload that. Wait another frame. I'm assuming that the delay here between like refreshing the API and then having the windows pop in has something to do with like it waiting for a game cycle or something to execute. But if you're using a freeze pause, like the one that I have set up now, and you reload a script, it takes 1 frame before any of the UI stuff will show up. Like you have to step forward. And I don't know the details of how that's set up. I just thought I'd point that out in case that's of any interest to change or fix, but it's not really that big of a deal. It's just a minor nuisance. Fade messages was one of the first features, so it might be shit. Okay, well, at some point someone could look into that. Maybe I could look into that. I just thought I'd throw it out there while you're here. But again, I will make bug reports for the things that I think are important on my own time, if you don't just like magically fix them between streams. And then it doesn't even have to be you either. Like I'll fix some of the stuff eventually if I'm capable of doing so. I just do not have a lot of time available right now. All right, entity tester, clam. So it's the top that's actually the thing that we're interested in. That's 3189. All right, there's our timers. So let's go see what this looks like normally. Okay, it's 30 frames for it to close. And then it does an animation, and then it's 60 frames for it to open back up. All right, so Pep is coming. I want it to close on the tail is what I'm trying to do here. All right, so that triggered the clam, and I'm going to manipulate this timer to snap on like the last segment. Let's see. I just set it to like 10 or something. Let's just make sure it closes when I want it to. A couple frames later than that, maybe. Like, it's gonna kill a couple segments. And my game crashed. Alright, so I think it's reasonably safe to say that if we closed it on the head, it would also crash my game. I did that in such a way that it shouldn't have left any like dangling segments, but I don't know internally what is going on. No, Drago, I know it's E, but I had the base selected, and I'm afraid to try to select the top half because if I drag it like a single pixel, it was going to detach it from the base. But I had the base selected, not the top half. That's why I didn't use E. And the top half is the one that has the timers, not the base, for some reason. Honestly, I have no idea why the top is the thing they put the timers on, but yeah, I do know about E. The problem is, if I'm worried that I'm going to accidentally drag the entity and update its position, then I don't want to select the entity with like middle click or anything. If there's a hotkey to just select an entity without risking moving it, then I don't know what it is, so I might just be using the tools wrong. Alright, so I have to play Classic Guy, unfortunately, because the game crashed, so I apologize. So let's say I need to do that for, okay, yeah, 30 minutes. But E is huge, by the way. I love using E. It's just I couldn't use it in that situation. Is that why losing 1 crown in CO co-op loses the constellation? Yeah, that's the exact reason. The constellation, just like, I don't remember which is which. I think Eggplant Crown is the one you can lose and still get the Eggplant constellation. But if you lose True Crown, you don't get the constellation anymore. And it's just because they fucking used a different, like, check for both of them. I have no idea why. I absolutely do not understand, but this game is a mess. Frame advanced Classic Guy noises. Luckily the noises don't get frame advanced, so you don't have to listen to them like stuttering or anything. Nobody wants that. Alright, Overlunky. Round 2. Alright, it took that long for us to crash once. Let's keep going with the clam science. Yeah, Acidus was a late addition, and this is the thing I was talking about with multiple people working on features. Somebody different probably programmed in the Acidus check and just used a completely different check instead of just doing what the what the Eggplant Crown already did, because who knows? Did anyone answer that question I had earlier about the Eggplant Crown flag, by the way? I don't think anyone knows. I'm just scrolling up to see if anything got answered. Yeah, Pep crashes when killed. Yeah, I'm not surprised by this. A Pep can't stand on it. Oh, is that what the check is? Is it, you have to be standing on the middle? I know you said that like 10 minutes ago, but is that what the APEP check is? Like, I guess standing on and then probably an X position check must be what it is then. I never really gave that much thought. I thought it was just like a really short like rectangle over the center of the clam. So I guess that means you can actually just like swipe gems out of it as long as you don't step on it, if I'm understanding that correctly. Let me go with a free one. Pick Pepina. Alright, I'm not gonna say no to that. I think I have the Pepina skin turned on. There we go, we can use a good skin. See, we don't have to play classic guy, we can play a good skin like Pepino. Look at him, in all his anxiety and agony. He's the perfect fit for this video game. Okay, let's see, fading. Alright, so I was asked to check bear traps or whatever, which I'm pretty sure are just going to get crushed by the clam, because that can happen normally, so I would be astonished if that causes any crashes. And dropping the clam on the trap is probably also going to do it. Can you teleport the clam with the shield? I don't see how that would work, but let's look into it. Need to stand on it. I mean, it makes sense now. That absolutely makes sense that that's how this works. I just never gave any thought to the standing on check. Alright, so here's a clam. Wait. Yeah, okay, that we definitely stepped on it. Oh yeah, that's pretty consistent. Yeah, I think I skimmed the area. I think it's like your origin point being like within one tile of the X. Or of the X center, or rather half a tile to the left or the right. Something like that is probably what the check is. It might be like a little bigger or smaller, I'm not sure. Oh, and if anybody was gonna ask about this, this is what happens with this interaction. Nothing interesting. The threshold for dragging is actually pretty lenient. Okay, you know what? Let's try that. Let's see. I'm gonna grab the dead center of this middle mouse. I mean, that's like 5 or 10 pixels, maybe. I mean, it's one of those things where I thought what I just did would crash my game, so I was afraid to try it, like just in case. I didn't want to crash the game while I was doing that test. Now this is fine because I think the top half of the clam is what's responsible for actually closing, and by some miracle, the bottom half isn't like fucking this up and crashing me. I don't know exactly who is checking for what here, but presumably the top half is responsible for triggering, because otherwise my game would be crashed right now, presumably. Alright, let's delete that. And look at the machete clip since it's super quick. I try to keep these on topic because I try to make VODs of these. Like I cut VODs afterward, and it's difficult to make a VOD if I just have like random other stuff interspersed into the middle of it. I will do the machete thing like right after the clam, unless it's like urgent and you're like dying of ligma or something. You need to see it right now. So let's see here. Bear traps, that was the other thing. I think they're called snap traps in the code, because they renamed them. Alright, so this first one, you could get this to happen in Tide Pool, they just get destroyed. And then the second interaction, it just crushes it, so nothing terribly interesting there. You understand? Okay, yeah, I'm not quite done with that. So let's see, somebody asked about metal shield, but nothing interesting happens, I'm pretty sure. Like, I can't push it. You're dying of ligma? Okay, you have a dying wish that I might or might not decide to grant. But I mean, nothing happens here. It deletes the shield in your hands. I think it just deletes anything that you're holding. Spawn like a cat or something. I'm pretty sure it just deletes whatever's in your hands. But there's no like specific interaction. I'll drop the clam on me. Well, there's no interaction that moves it horizontally, I'm pretty sure. Let's try it. Let's see what happens. Right here. Well, actually, let's get an edge case where it just kind of barely skims it. Now, you see what's going on here. It pulped me. Like, I got crushed there. You heard the noise, and it just didn't move. I tried facing left since coolback is, like, sensitive to that. Yeah, this is held item jank. Like, you could see this happen on Olmec. Since the item I'm holding can't get crushed, the game is trying to not put it in a solid wall. And the best it could do is that. And obviously, since I have God mode on, I eventually just get, like, clipped out of this. And we get funny nonsense like this, which looks really silly, but you can't actually, like, do this in the base game. So it's not terribly useful. It does look very silly, though. Where's the hitbox for the shield, actually? I wonder. It's actually, the hitbox is actually over here where the shield is. It's not even in front of me. Oh, this is a silly video game. Alright, anyways, any other clam things I didn't check before we move on to machete? Shift mouse 3. What does shift mouse 3 do versus just regular mouse 3? Is that in the list of shortcuts? Shift mouse 3. Mouse grab unsafe. Wait, why do you want me to do that? That just seems even worse. I guess if you want to move, if you want to select something that it wouldn't let you normally. I don't know, what is an unsafe grab? Or is that just like the mechanic for moving stuff in general? Like it won't let you grab something that you think will crash if you move it. Is that what that's doing? So I could force it to grab something unsafe, but as long as I don't move my cursor a few pixels, it won't actually move it? Is that how that works? The top half listens to an event from the bottom half. I would think that would crash because that'd probably be a null pointer. Most of the things in this game that are expecting to have like a child object don't actually check if that object is null before they send a signal to it. So I feel like that's probably not what it is. It's tough to say for sure. I don't know. It's just the fact that both variables are on the top leads me to believe that the top is responsible for checking if you're in front of it and standing on something. In fact, we could check that just in general, whether I'm standing on anything. So if I spawn like a push block, see, how does this work? And make it like short. I wonder if this would count, if this would be like in the range. Maybe it is detecting specifically if you're standing on the base. Because yeah, that didn't work and that's not triggering it, so it must be somehow checking if you're on the base of the clam. Ah, there we go. I was wondering if that was going to happen. Yeah, I don't know exactly what the check is. It'd be something easier to data mine, probably. Well, maybe not easier, honestly. I could figure this out, but it's not terribly important right now. Yeah, you could do the shield thing I was showing with door cancel because you're stuck in a wall and the held item is just trying to find a spot that's not in the wall. Alright, I think we got everything. I'm checking the list again. Clam versus regen block. Yeah, okay, why not? Let's try that. Yeah, bubble wrap is weird. I don't know what the rule would be for that. I think it's called regenerating block. I think spawning the active floor will also generate the rest of it. Like, not the background for it, but it should still be there. Yeah, it comes back. Alright. So, okay, I'm glad I didn't grab the flame there. That'll crash your game if it let me do that. Gone. It's just gone. But enable hitboxes and look at the blue selector. Wait, which entity are we talking about here? Shift just grabs all masks. Okay, you answered that question. Don't want random FX entities. That's true. Like, if you grab these fires, your game will crash. Or at least it used to. You might have fixed that, but that used to crash, and I had to be really careful to grab the bottom of the torch. But it sounds like... Oh, never mind. You didn't fix that. You can still grab the fire. That's not fixed. That was not a shift click. That was a regular middle click to grab the fire there. So yeah, you might want to add that to the unsafe list of things you can grab. I took your word for it. I got baited. Let me start the game again. Was I playing Classic Guy that whole time? I don't even remember. No, I was playing Pepino. That's right. You gave me a break. Does Spelunky 2 use events, publisher and subscriber? Probably not. Somebody who has seen the code probably could. Oops. It's fine. It happens. Understandable. Well, now you know, but that happens. That's been an issue, like, ever since Overlunky existed, and I just kind of took it for granted that I should not touch the fire. Do not touch the fire. It is hot. It will burn you. And crash your game. But yeah, that should probably be unsafe. Alright, Overlunky. There's a Kingu request. What was the Kingu request? To kill Kingu with a giant clam? I wonder if that would crash, or if the crash prevention will like stop that. I don't remember if Kingu is unstable if you delete the entity. But no, Kingu is unstable, right? Or no, you could bear trap Kingu and it would actually give you the kill. That might actually work. You could delete the fire without crashing. What, it'll just come back a frame later? Or does it actually stay gone? I'm not gonna provoke that, alright? I'm not gonna tempt fate here. We're gonna leave the fires alone. Can't get Overlunky to start if you're already starting the game. I attach it afterward usually. I just have a command, like I have a shortcut on Windows that just runs a batch file that just runs the version of Overlunky that I want, and it doesn't give me any issues. There's also a button. There's like 3 ways you could do this, and one of them will probably work. Like I could tell you exactly what it is I do if you really need the help for that, but you probably get better results by just posting like the help channel on the community Discord to see like why one might work and the other won't. But I don't know what to tell you. I don't use the inject button on a ModLunky. I just run the actual executable for the injector, and I give it the I give it the path to the game if I want to launch them together, and otherwise I let it do its default attaching behavior. And that works just fine. It ejects correctly. That's what I've been doing here with ModLunky. I'm injecting it after I launch ModLunky because on my end, the checkbox to attach when you launch PlayLunky just doesn't work. So something always doesn't work. I haven't looked into it enough to know if it's a skill issue or not. And that's why I haven't reported it as an issue, because I haven't done diligence on it to see if it's something I'm doing wrong. So it's tough to say what your situation is. But you could try to ask for help in that Discord, and hopefully somebody will know what it is, or at least will give you a solution that does work. But in my case, again, you could definitely make it work. I just don't know how much jank goes into it. An issue that people have is administrator mode. If you're running Spelunky in administrator mode, which you shouldn't be, but if you are, then you also need to run Overlunky in administrator mode or it will just fail to inject. And I don't know what feedback, if any, it gives you when that happens. But you shouldn't be running Spelunky in administrator mode, because just running everything as root is bad practice in Linux, and it's the same thing for Windows. Like, it's easy, and everything works correctly, but you can fuck yourself over so hard if you just have random software in admin mode. So, be careful if that's what you're doing. That may be the problem you're having. And I don't know if Overlunky is able to, like, detect that and tell you or not, because I don't run it in admin mode. Alright, anyways, what were you doing here? Giant clams. Kingu. So we want to test Kingu. The bubble wrap just deleted this. Can the clam destroy the bubble wrap is the other question I want to look into. And then we were going to look into Kingu. So let's see here. Regenerating block, let's just put it over here. Yeah, the clam, like, kills the regen block, and then it just comes back. So nothing terribly interesting happens here. Now let's see. Fire is an item. Item underscore wall torch flame. Isn't this game fucking fantastic? We have this. We have all these awesome looking FX entities. We got like birdies, we have an explosion, which is actually a functional entity despite being in effects. Like, who made these categories? Like, I don't understand some of these. Like, active floors are pretty consistent. I don't know what the difference between an item and an FX is, because this game seems to just like randomly choose between them for various things. And then there's this fucking abomination, mid BG, which is used for just like random shit in the background that's supposed to render on a specific layer. This game is, it's something. It's a mess is what it is. Let's go crash the game by crushing Kingu. So, let's see, Abzu. Alright, so let's see here. My mods are gone too. Yeah, there's this little extra click cycle here. Like, if this was saved with Overlunky, it would save me like a few seconds every time I crash my game. And that would probably cut hours off of like the time lost, because I crash this game so fucking much while I'm doing shit. So I will definitely appreciate that if and when it ever gets added. But for now, I will make do. Kingu. Alright, so what I'm trying to do here is I want Kingu to stop moving around. So let's see. How does this timer work? Okay, it's climb pause timer, which is probably just a bite. So let's spawn the clam here. Let's add like a border tile. Oh. All right. Let's see. How do we? First of all, I don't know why that deleted Kingu. I assume that's an overlucky thing. I'm not sure why that deleted Kingu, unless like it was just some interaction that said crush the entity under the border tile. Let's try that again. All right. Restart here, aren't we? So let's see, I need to get Kingu to move into the clam platform if that's going to cause issues. I just want to see what happens here. Alright, let's see here. This is no longer Kingu, this is some other... Oh, that's a bug. I'm caching the value from the old level. I need to fix that. There's a reason, chat, why I haven't released any of these, like, hacky tools I have. It's because they barely work. I just know, like, which things will cause problems with them. Alright, so let's see here. What's the RNG manip... Is it the left or the right that Kingu will approach you? I think the right side is bugs, but Kingu will approach you if you're on the left, if I recall correctly. It's not RNG manipulation, really. Yeah, if I'm not crashing the game, then I mean, what's even the point? No, it's the right side. Kingu's AI is, like, shitty and lopsided for anybody who doesn't know, because I don't know what testing is in this video game, so let's just whip this out. This I'm pretty sure still works, even though I haven't updated this in like an eternity. Let's see here. Visualization, let's just add Kingu. Alright, so here's Kingu's actual like aggro range. Okay, the left side is lopsided. So Kingu will just kind of, let me zoom out the camera a little bit more. This is also doubling as a Kingu like example stream. These are the behavior ranges for Kingu right now. As you can see, one of them is not like the other, because the fucking devs checked them in the wrong order. And Kingu will just doesn't have a move right range because the move random range like takes priority over it. They missed an absolute value check or something. I don't know what exactly they did. But it's some dumb shit like that causes Kingu to behave like this, and I'm trying to get Kingu to move right onto these tiles. So let's go all the way over here. And then I'm going to spawn a clam on these tiles, and we're going to trigger it and see what happens. So I probably want the bottom half here. Alright, so Kingu's right in the center. I'll read chat in a moment. Let me finish this test before I run out of time. Actually, is the clam... Oh, you're right. Yeah, does it fall through platforms? Did I even need to do any of this? No, it doesn't. Okay, we just do this. Alright, so trigger it. I mean... Alright, folks, you wanted a new way to kill Kingu, and like pacifist, and here it is. It's basically the same interaction as the bear trap interaction that you would get from Kingu. Which is surprising, honestly, that this boss doesn't just like straight up crash or get sent to the Shadow Realm or something. Oh, the fucking tablet is gone too. Yeah, I don't know about that. You're not getting the tablet. Maybe if you get the clam like really close to the edge, you might get the tablet. But yeah, the clams, for whatever reason, don't fall through semi-solids. That's the reason why you can soft lock yourself, like with the door platform. I mean, push blocks don't either. It's consistent. Like, push blocks also don't fall through semi-solids, so, like, it makes sense. It's just not what you would intuitively expect to happen. Alright, so anyways, let's see. Let me scroll up a bit. Alright, fires... Clam on Hundun floor, and we can just see what happens. It'll probably just sit on the Hundun floor. I don't think it'll crush anything, though it could crush the spike entities. Let's see here. You notice there was an active floor in the same tile, and it deleted it safely. Oh, does that like recursively go back up and kill Kingu if you try to delete the Kingu platform? That would make sense then. So a little bit of a weird edge case that doesn't matter to anybody except me in this one specific scenario. So I wouldn't put that on a list of things to fix. It's not really a bug. I mean, I guess maybe you could check if it's a semi-solid and not destroy it with the floor tile, because it doesn't need to. But I don't know. I don't really care that much. Do whatever makes the most sense to you. And if what makes the most sense is doing nothing, then I mean that's the easiest way out. Let's see. Yeah, snap trap and rando. You need like a push block hermit crab to do that, don't you? And then you just put a snap trap on it and set it off, and it'll just instant kill Kingu. Yeah, man trap can do it too. I've seen that before. Like that's a thing that happens in rando. Neither of those crash the game. They just obliterate Kingu instantly. Silly game. Why even bother testing for edge cases? At least it works in our favor. You wonder if she'll crush the tiles above her during the ascent. Wait, oh, Madam Tusk. Madam Tusk, I think, gets crushed if you do that, but I guess we can find out. Or actually... No, actually, Tusk might survive that. Yeah, as long as she doesn't run horizontally into, like, a regen block. Well, let's go to the Hundan floor and drop a clam on it and see what happens. And then maybe we'll pivot into some, like, miscellaneous science. So before we do anything else, let's see. Any other clam questions? I'm gonna go check out the Hundan floor now. Yeah, well, it sits on the floor, as one would expect. It doesn't break anything. It might crash me or something if Hundan gets stomped by it. Okay, it's just fucking gone. Alright, let's spawn it under Hundan and see if it, like, does anything. Alright, so it's not interacting. Let's see if the feet will do anything. These are fun spike interactions. The feet won't set it off on their own. Interesting, it actually isn't able to, like, destroy the Hundan feet, but they are FX entities. It's hard to see. Let me pause the fucking game. The Hundan limbs are FX entities for some reason, even though they have active collision, but I guess that prevents them from interacting with the clam base or something. The Tusk mining science. Was there science on that? All I know about Tusk is that she destroys tiles that are at head level. Like, Tusk will turn around and avoid running through tiles that are at, like, I don't know, foot level, flipper level, but not for head level. So that's what causes Tusk to just break ceiling tiles. I don't know if we learned anything else. Yeah, I think the FX concept isn't so much, like, because it's an effect, and it's more because it's a class of entity that they had, like, some specific preset for, like, what it does and doesn't interact with, and that was just the one that made the most sense at the time, which is fine, I guess, but the naming is pretty bad. Alright, so let's see if a clam will kill the head. Fucking get on the clam. Fight me. Alright, well, I mean, that'll kill Hundan. It'll work. I don't think there's anything, like, unstable about this fundamentally. It just kills Hundan. And does that, apparently, because the Hundan entity itself is a monster. So Hundan is on top of the clam, and so it is constantly getting triggered, but it does not delete the Hundan entity. It just leaves Hundan like this, probably because there's a separate code for, like, a 0 health Hundan or something. I don't know. How much health does Hundan actually have? How does this work? 57. Monster. I think Movable is the one that has the health. Hundan has 200 health, folks. So Hundan is still alive, apparently, and just has some, like, special override to not get killed by the clam, I guess. Wait, where'd the leg go? Oh, that might just be because the clams... Yeah, there we go. The legs were fine. It's just the Hundan legs don't like the floor not being flat, so they get kind of bendy and weird if you, like, do things. Doing a little jig. Look at those moves. Yeah, they just don't work correctly because they're only programmed to, like, settle onto this specific flat floor surface. And if you do anything else with your animated emote, I don't know if that one would downscale very well. But I mean, knock yourself out if you want to make it. And it's not going to go very high on my list. It's just Hundan Jam. And it's just this. It's just like a shittily cropped, like, clip of me doing this with Hundan. See ya. I'm not letting him hit the kill plane. Oh my goodness. Yep, there we go. This is why these tools aren't released. Get out of here. And we're gonna just turn that on. Yeah, that's because I'm not clearing the entity properly between levels because I broke it at some point. He twerking. He hitting the gritty. Fucking Hundun. Amusing at the very least, but another thing that they didn't program for any edge cases, so the legs just do not work correctly. Alright, so let's see what else was there. We didn't even do the tusk mining thing. We'll come back to that at the very end of the segment. You know what? Actually, no, whatever. We'll mix it in. This will be a secret like feature for anybody who was watching the segment about this. So there's Tusk. If she's not mad, I wonder what happens here. She just dies. So what if Tusk is mad? What the fuck? Okay, we need to slow this down a little. Why are these still here? Should reload the whole mod. I think it's actually spamming the error messages. This out of here. There we go. Okay, I should fix that. Oops. Oh, that's not. It wasn't the visualizer. Hold on. There we go. All right, it's fixed. Now we don't even need this open right now. Let's just close all this. All right, so Tusk. This is just a bonus feature. It's one of those entities that has dumb AIs. Is it like state 8? It's like move state 8 that makes them mad. I don't remember. Yeah, it's 8, I think, for most of the NPCs. That just aggroes them. So let's just see what happens here, I guess. Oh. What the fuck? No, it's not 8. Let me try. Let me also set the flags. It's all so inconsistent. Now, where's the Tusk one? I think it's a quest flag. Now, let's try angry instead of dead. Maybe that'll make it work. Yeah, just patrolling. Oh, well, there goes Tusk. We need Tusk to be moving around, or I'm pretty sure she can't break tiles properly. Okay, you know what? Let's take a step back for a moment here. Let's go figure out how this works first. Let's see. Hopefully 4-1. Alright, so, Tusk, what state are you in? You are in state... Okay, current AI state 0 right now. 6. Okay, it's the attacking state. 8 is patrolling. Maybe I just forgot which is which. Alright, so we could do that. Alright, so Tusk is already mad at us now, so we should be able to get aggro on Hundun pretty easily. So with frame advance, just because I want to do this when the floor is clear. Alright, so Tusk herself hasn't, like, switched to the aggro state, but I should be able to just do this. Yeah, so it's weird. I guess Tusk... Never mind. That still didn't work. Did it, like, reset? What is going on? It just changed back to 0. She moved for a bit. Nah, never mind. I forgive you. The floor fucks with the path. There is no pathing really, though. I don't know why she's changing back. Like, Tusk's aggro should be set still. Maybe she just doesn't know how to behave on this particular level, because some of the NPCs have this where they don't work correctly on levels that you wouldn't normally encounter them. Well, we always have one solution to the problem. Brute force. Let's see, I'm gonna do this by entity ID. Alright, let's see, move state equals 6. And we're gonna do that. Maybe just right before every update. Let's just try on pre-update, see if that gets us anywhere. Alright, so Tusk should actually stay angry now. God fucking damn it. Well, this is certainly not how I was expecting this to go. Tusk won't actually break floor in that state without a target. :D in quotes. The fuck? I mean, she's just not even staying aggroed in general. Hurt a bodyguard. I mean, I can hurt Tusk. Alright, let's try this again. Alright, so there's Tusk. I'm gonna hope she doesn't die again, or I'm gonna have to recreate this fucking callback like every single time because I'm too lazy to just get entities by type and check which one I have. Alright, so Tusk is mad. Why would she not be targeting me right now? Delete some of these. I don't know, are you ready to concede defeat? Oh, there we go. Okay, a tile broke. Alright, now what happens? So she's about to get hit by a ceiling. Okay, maybe that was it. God mode shouldn't affect aggro. It just bypasses all the callbacks, I think. Or not callbacks, but all the game events that are supposed to, like, damage you. Pretty sure is how God mode was implemented. Guys, I don't know, honestly. Maybe, like, sort of horizontal movement into the tile causes it to break. I don't know, I got nothing on this, and I feel like the addition of the rising Hunden floor is just making this more convoluted. Like, we have other ways to do this, with, like, elevators. I don't know, is there more that we can really learn from this? Yeah, are there any other giant clam questions as well? Let's finish off the giant clam segment. Oh my god, this is loud. Let's finish off the giant clam segment. Any other, like, clam-related questions that I missed? Just hydrating in the meantime. Was all the current clams. Excellent. Alright, so then we did some Tusk stuff after that. Might lump it together. Osiris. What about Osiris? Oh, can Osiris crush a clam? Okay. Clam segment not over. And I stack a bunch of them. I'll try that. I don't think anything terribly interesting happens, but let's see. I'm just gonna delete this Joker here. I don't want to deal with him. Alright, so... I mean, I'm not honestly sure if the clam closing or falling is what destroyed the hand there. Clam a pep? We did that! It crashed the game. We already did that. It didn't go well. Okay, so the clam will just delete the hands, which... We've seen that before. I forget what interactions can cause this, but this can happen just sometimes if you're fucking around with the hands and like they get stuck in border tiles. I've had that happen while testing up here. So let's try that again, but without the clam shutting on the hand, and let's see what happens. I want to see if the hand can actually destroy it. I don't think it can. It doesn't look like it. Alright, so let's carefully watch what happens here. Yeah, it just goes right through the clam and breaks the tile. It sets it off. Hold up a sec. I thought somebody said you have to stand on the clam base to do that. Why the fuck did it close? Was the hand like standing on it for one frame, or is that actually not how that works? God damn it. Here's another clam. Right, let's trigger a punch, but I'm not standing in the middle. Alright, right there. Let's go look at the status on this. What is going on with this hand? Standing on active floor giant clam base. The fuck? Why would this entity even be able to stand on floors? I mean, that's what's setting it off. Why would that even, like, be a thing? Again, who made this game? Like, why would this entity be able to do that? His hands were his legs. I mean, that makes sense. Does it destroy tiles by standing on them? I mean, it's clipped into this. Honestly, it could be it. Let's remove the clam before it breaks the hand, and let's just see what happens here. So I'm gonna wait for it to move over me. So let me spawn a couple of floor tiles for it to hit, and let's see what it lands on. And again, I'm still scared to grab these and pick them up. What's the ID? 3211. Attach it this time. Alright, so what are you standing on? Osiris can handstand. Alright, so he just hit a block. The hand is not standing on anything. I don't know. Like, it destroyed these two tiles. It's not standing on them. I could try it with a border tile and see if it can stand on that because it broke them on the same frame or something. Like, Osiris hands are weird. Remember, like, this was the origin of back item duping before we found out that you can do it with other entities if you have the right ID order. You can always do it with Osiris hand because it just fucking works differently from, like, every other, like, destructive entity in the game. So there's already a precedent for Osiris hands not behaving consistently. Yeah, it stands on the tile, like for a frame, or for as long as it's touching it. There we go. That's what I was talking about with the border tiles, by the way. Put them on spoiler and rando. They're fun and impossible to crash. Wait, they're not? They don't crash? I would have honestly expected these to be super unstable, but I guess we're lucky that they can die and just not ruin the game. There's more depth to rando than I apparently know about. I don't know what the spoiler is, so I'm curious about that, even though I personally don't really care to play rando. It's still interesting to watch other people do it, but it's a little too chaotic for me. I'll settle for crashing my game by crushing a pep. Stops moving when it destroys something. Yeah, there's a range limit, or if it hits tiles, I think it stops moving as well. Does Olmec stand before crushing tiles? I think Olmec does stand before crushing tiles, if I recall correctly. Yeah, whatever. This is just part of the same process here. Whatever. This still blends into the giant clams. So let's see here. 238. It could be some dumb shit like them doing multiple iterations with the physics engine to like figure out what the entity is standing on, destroy it, check again, destroy it, check again, destroy it. Olmec is currently standing on this floor tile here, despite that not even being the one like underneath Olmec's origin. It's just the first one that it detected. And then on the next frame, Olmec will actually destroy them. And I knew this already because I'd seen this while doing the tasking. Like, the Olmec will stop early and land on the surface and then punch through it after that. And then Olmec is once again standing on a tile. And it's actually still this one, even though that's not the closest one to the origin. So I don't know why this in particular is the tile that Olmec is choosing to stand on, but it doesn't generally matter. And have a funny if statement. I shudder to imagine what the raw source code for this game looks like. I'm sure there's plenty of funny if statements for weird special cases that they couldn't elegantly program with their like entity class and type system. So they're just like, if world equals 3, then caveman no picky uppy item. Like just shit like that is probably how they programmed it, because that's just what they did. I don't even know if there's like a theme call that it makes for that, or if there's literally just if world equals 3 or if theme equals Olmec, then no pickup items, because cavemen don't pick up items in the Olmec level, by the way. Just specifically the Olmec level, presumably so they don't like fuck around in the cutscene. FX caveman, that's not quite how that works. They're definitely monsters. Rando was the reason you started the Lua API. You wanted to... I'm so happy then that you made Rando, because it has birthed so many things as a result of the Lua API existing. Like, we gave the game the mods that the devs didn't want it to have, and it has certainly given me a whole lot more to do in this game, just making mods and learning new things about it. Like, there is no shot I would still be streaming this game if we didn't have Overlunky to do this kind of stuff. Like, I would have just burnt out, and like, I would, if I even still streamed, I would probably just like run the daily every now and then not really play the game anymore. This has given me so much more to do with it. So thank you for that. Thank you for making Rando. I still don't want to play Rando though, because I cannot stomach it. It's too much chaos for me. That's why I don't stream it. But I appreciate it existing. Are we done with giant clams now? I mean, this got derailed by Osiris there, but are we done with giant clams for real? I think we tested most of the interesting active floors. Like, I think giant clams also crush the, like, tide pool, like, swinging doors or whatever. I don't know what else there is to really test on that. I mean, I guess we could test a couple more active floors. Machete. Okay, we'll do machete next. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a couple more giant clam tests because I thought of 2 active floors we didn't check, and then we're gonna do machete. We are going to do machete. I promise. Alright, get the link ready, by the way, if you need to show me it, because it is long gone from my, like, chat history. I have no idea where it is. I keep doing this. I have the hot bar. Snake, fuck off. The fuck? Did it just spawn the clam with an idol on it? Because, or did I miss it? Did I like fall through the idol, or did it spawn one on the clam? Whatever. Okay, so the thing will not destroy the clam. If I move it over here a little bit so I can touch the origin point. It's just gone. Okay, nothing we weren't expecting there. Yeah, okay, so apparently if you spawn a giant clam in a level that like is flagged as having an idol, this is another if case. This is another fucking if case, I'm pretty sure. Let's see, where is it? I think there's a flag somewhere for this. Is it in presence flags? Maybe it's undiscovered. I don't know, I feel like there's a flag for this somewhere for like whether the level generated an idol, or maybe if it's in the idol room. Hold on, is that what it is? Oh, it's in the idol room. So if you spawn a giant clam in the room that is tagged as the idol, so this one right here, it'll have a, well, it spawned over there for some reason, but it'll have an idol in it. Oh, we can test the stacking clams thing now for whoever asked about that. They don't crush each other. They just stick on top of each other. You spawn it up here though, that is idle top, which is dwelling specific, I'm pretty sure, so it just doesn't do anything. I don't know why it's like just sometimes spawning over here, but whatever, it's a weird edge case. I don't think there's any video for the machete clip, but it's very simple. Alright, we'll do a live. What else have we got? You're periodically checking streams to see if Rando is beatable enough. So I played, maybe I'll give Rando another pass if you've been taking like actual balance passes on it. Now let me wrap this up and then I'll talk about Rando after this. Let's see. So I think that's everything I wanted to test with the clams. They just crush the tide pool swing or hanging doors or whatever those are called. And that's it.